Welcome back to Plate Workbench Tutorials. This time we're going to study designing vases, how to add activities to your vases, what activities can be performed by facilitators and learners. We're going to also learn actors, who is engaged in the activity and how. Engagement modes, very important at runtime, on how participants are going to get engaged. Artifacts, what products or deliverables are expected out or in the activities. Let us see a complete demo on this. It's time now to start creating activities in the vases. You just need to double click on the vase name. Double click. The vase name appears on top of the work area. We have activity, actor, and artifact. We'll focus on these three things this time. To create an activity, just drag it to the work area. Select the type of the activity. Be careful, the available types are related to the type of the vase. I'll select Introduction of Learning Process. I'll give it a title, Learning Process Intro. So we have an activity. But what's the action policy onto this activity? We have two policies, you can select any one. We have covered action policies before. Now, who's the actor? Who's going to do what in this activity and how? I'm selecting the facilitator this time, connecting him to the activity. Now be careful. It's very important to select the engagement mode. Click on the arrow. On the right hand side you see engagement mode. Now the engagement mode presents information in. But if you want to change the engagement mode, you just select one of the available engagement modes. It is very important to select the right engagement mode. You just can click on it. I changed it back to presents information in. So the facilitator is expected to only present information in for this activity. Engagement modes are very important. I create a new activity, establish ground rules. Ground rules I'll call it. I'm going to select the sequence now. So first is learning process intro, second is ground rules. Now I'm going to select the actors. This time I'm going to select the groups individually. I'm going to select business group and add the engineering group. In a later tutorial I'll select both of them in one group of groups. So both are engaged in this activity. Again, we have now engagement mode. Just click on the arrow. Since these are students or learners, we have different engagement modes. All members collaboratively perform, each member collaboratively perform, or individually. If you want the students to individually do something, select this one. If you want them to work in groups, then you have each group performs or work individually. This activity is going to produce an artifact, but I cannot create an artifact because this type of activities do not support any artifact creation. So you need to be careful when selecting the right activity type and vase type. I'm going to go to another vase now, which is finding facts. Create a new activity. The activity is going to be gather information. I'm going to call it information gathering. Actors. This time I'm going to select the entire class. They still can work in groups, either individually or collaboratively. See the engagement mode? We have each member or all members or each group. If you want them to work in groups, select this one. We also can have them work either jointly or in turn. If you select in turn, there is no interaction mode because the one will do it after the other. but jointly it can be either synchronously or asynchronously. This activity is going to produce an artifact. We also have predefined artifact types. The type now is information. I'll call it basic info or basic findings. See, the arrow says produces. The arrows are very important because at runtime they decide the way data is presented or created by the learners. You can change the engagement type. This time I want the students to work individually. So at runtime each student will create his own finding report. But if I change it to group, each group is only required to produce only one artifact. I'm going to create a new activity, conduct observations. Observation, I'll call it. I'm going to drag the same actors, sequencing, and maybe this activity is going to create or is expected to produce an artifact. So I can drag one. I need to specify the type of the artifact. See, we have observations. I'm going to call it observations report. So connected to the activity. If you think the basic finding report is needed in the second activity, just drag it to the activity circles. This way, the basic findings report is going to appear to the students while they are working in the second activity. Otherwise, it will not be useful for them. A third phase, formulate findings. I'm going to call it formulating findings. Finish. Again, same actors. Reorganize the phase activities. This activity is going to produce a finding report. Finish. Okay. If you still think you need any of the prior reports, you can drag them. Now it's very important also to think again of the engagement mode. If you want students to work individually or in groups or in turns or synchronously or asynchronously together, you select this. We forgot to sequence the third activity. Let me also include the basic finding report in the third activity, so students at runtime will find it available to them. Also, the second report might be needed. This way, at runtime, the students at the third activity will find the prior two reports available to them. I think I need to change the engagement mode in the first activity. I want the students to individually work on this one. So at runtime, each of them will be able to create his own basic findings, while in the next two activities, it's not going to be like this.